and his supporters have been screaming nonstop about how they don't want any criminal immigrants in the country. And then he goes and welcomes 17 members of Mexico's Sinaloa Cartel family into the country.
There's so much happening right now and so much in the hellscape. It is so hard to stay updated.
This is also by design. It really just feels like so much is crumbling.
The left is too busy fighting each other to fucking unite and figure it out. The first topic I wanted to jump into is the federal judges. I think they've been doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the states the last 4 months. I think anytime I see something that Trump is like, oh, we're going to pass the SAVE Act, they're like, just kidding, you're not. And that's been really great for the American people and really scary for the federal judges. Mm-hmm. So usually the federal judges are protected by the U.S. Marshals. But recently, I believe 12 judges have received anonymous pizza deliveries. And the reason that's concerning is because there's a congresswoman about 2 years ago whose son was shot when a delivery driver showed up and delivered him a pizza and just killed him. But he didn't order a pizza either. The judges are really theorizing that because of their amazing efforts to block this cretin from turning our country into all-out hell, that their lives are being threatened. And that's amazing. And it's super fun for them that they can't even trust the U.S. Marshals to protect them. And they think that Donald Trump is going to make them a target or have the marshals not pay attention to them. So they are actually designing their own security force to keep themselves safe from our president. And if that doesn't scream dystopian fascism to you, I don't really know what else to tell you.
Pizza as a threat.
How dare you get me excited?
Yeah, don't confuse me. I'm all excited. I got a pizza. Oh, it's a death threat. What? Okay, now I'm confused about pizza and you're ruining things that bring me joy. That's not nice.
Pepperoni spell out, you're next. And I'm like, weird coincidence.
I'm like, I'm next for another pizza.
I think it was a judge recently who blocked Donald Trump's attempt to stop Harvard from having any international students. And then the judge blocked it and granted Harvard a restraining order against the president. Which didn't know that was possible. I didn't know a university could have a restraining order against the leader of the free world, but
we've never had a president that was trying to threaten universities.
Here we are.
Yeah, exactly. Although I did hear he put a pause on like all international students, like not just Harvard. He's like, actually, just kidding. None of you can come here and learn anymore.
People that are getting admitted to these universities, they're probably like really exceptional students, and maybe they could come here and live here and contribute to our economy, make some discoveries, make our country better.
He doesn't want that because he probably couldn't pay them off. You know what I mean?
He's also trying to revoke their tax exempt status, and he's trying to revoke any sort of like funding that they have.
Wait, I'm sorry. International students are going to get taxed more than the billionaires that currently inhabit our country?
The universities.
Harvard University.
Amazing.
And then he's also trying to revoke a lot of their federal funding, which goes towards like grants and goes towards research and goes towards, educating the future of the world. I do feel like they're coming after education
100%.
because they want people to be uneducated.
Look at his followers. You can't argue with them. They believe that facts can be debated. They don't believe in the Holocaust. They think slaves were paid. Like, they're actual brain-rotted idiots. And he's going after attacking higher education because all the educated people are like, hey, this is bad.
I feel like he's trying to do it as like a weird you is he's like, oh, well, I'm going to take all of the funding that Harvard gets and like put it towards trade schools. And it's like, okay, great, let's fund trade schools. But like, he's trying to make it this weird like class.
Us against them. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need.
Like people who are becoming lawyers versus people who are becoming plumbers. But like.
Here's the thing.
It's all of us against the fucking ruling class.
I don't think I've ever looked at a plumber or a tradesman and been like, ha. Lawyers are better than you because I acknowledge that they are doing a job I'm not equipped for, I wouldn't want to do, and they're paid very fairly for being trade workers. We need them the same way we needed immigrants, but I see how America treats people that they find expendable. Pay attention. If any judges mysteriously die, it's not a mystery. They didn't kill themselves. It's because they were getting in the way of a fascist regime.
I wish it wasn't just the judges. We have 3 branches of government, and watching the legislative branch just do nothing is crazy making. I remember when I was younger, a lot of things that would have been considered conservative values have just completely been thrown out the window since Donald came along. It's not like the Republican Party of 20 years ago.
No.
Where, they were like, well, yeah, but we want rule of law and a strong economy. Like, even if they weren't good at doing some of those things, like, they at least exhibited some interest in some of these things, and now they're just like, no, we just want whatever our co-leader wants.
Yep, it is the most hatred, bigotry, misogyny. It's the craziest thing I've literally ever witnessed. Did you see Kristi Noem? What is habeas corpus? And she doesn't actually. It's the president's right to put anyone in prison. That's not what that means. That's not what that means.
She's stupid or she's doing this on purpose and she knows the answer. I really don't know which is the case.
This is what I literally feel like someone is coming in and trying to rewrite American history, and that's why AI is dangerous. People debating facts is dangerous. We are approaching a very delicate balance, and I don't think the American people, well, the ones that are doing so, I don't think we're smart enough.
I think media literacy is dying rapidly.
Down.
It's crazy.
The left is too busy fighting each other to unite and figure it out. And all this so that the rich can just keep getting richer.
I'm like, you're all going to die someday. You don't get to take your money with you.
Trillionaires get to live forever.
Just what the fuck?
You can't possibly spend all the money these people are amassing. So it's not like it's improving their quality of life in any way.
That's it. And then help people. Can you derive joy from helping people? I don't understand.
And how embarrassing is it to be us with common sense watching and being like, are the rest of you guys seeing this?
Yeah.
And for some reason, the world's like, he's just himself. You've never seen a president like Trump. You're right. I've never seen a president blatantly take bribes.
It's so out in the open and it's so egregious and it's being reported. It's not a secret. The press is on it, but nothing's being done, and it's so criminal. He's added literally billions of dollars to his personal wealth since
I believe is
taking office.
40% his wealth has accumulated up since then.
He had this crypto dinner where he had all these crypto bros come, hundreds of millions of dollars in money for Donald and his crypto scheme.
When they showed up in masks.
Great.
They showed up with full head coverings, like a circle with antennas coming out of his head.
And the crypto money isn't traceable, really. So, we don't even know. It could be even worse than we think.
I'm sure it is.
And then, on top of that, he and his supporters have been screaming nonstop about how they don't want any criminal immigrants in the country. And then he goes and welcomes 17 members of Mexico's Sinaloa Cartel family into the country. It's very sketchy. We don't know a lot about it. It is being reported on, but we just don't have information.
They're known members of the cartel?
100%. Mexico says so. The U.S. government says so. They're for sure members of this cartel.
I'm literally at the point where I'm like, what would it take? But no, Donald Trump apologists are literally like, he could kill someone in the street and I'd be okay with it. This is where we're at.
They walked in the country with briefcases full of cash. This is all known reporting. Supposedly he cut some sort of deal with the Sinaloa cartel that none of us are privy to.
He's going to be like, it was the gold card. I told you guys about it already.
But there's no way those people are just going to come in here if they're expecting to spend their lives in prison. So they cut a deal that they like using,
So I guess
government.
only poor illegal criminals. Right.
Mm-hmm. And white ones. You can have white criminal, or you can have white immigrants, because he's also welcomed all of these South African white people into the country, who will now be receiving benefits, by the way. That's the other thing. So they complain about criminal immigrants coming into the country, but they welcome members of the Sinaloa Cartel, I guess, because they can pay them, even though they're known to be criminals. And then they complain about immigrants coming in here and getting public benefits, but they welcome white South Africans and tell them they can have public benefits. They can have Medicaid. They can have SNAP. So which is it? Do you want immigrants or not? Can they have benefits or not? Can
they want to be able to handpick the immigrants. It's just, it's the craziest time. I've never felt crazier. I've literally never felt more gaslit. It really just
feels like so much is crumbling. It feels insane.
And also how many incompetent people are sitting there.
Yeah.
I've seen Republican senators stand up and be like, this is a problem. And I'm like, he was impeached. He was literally impeached the first time he ran in office. First time he was in office. I'm not understanding how an impeached president with 34 convicted felonies can be the leader of the free world while condemning criminals being one himself. Make it make sense. And then the maggots are like, oh, well, they only did that so he wouldn't be able to run again. So it was a bad. I'm like, these are legal cases. He's legally a felon.
There is no consistency. The only consistency is they love their cult leader, and anything he does is fine, and anything he doesn't like is bad. And that's the consistency. That's it. It doesn't matter what the specifics are. That's the whole narrative.
I will say, though, I've been seeing a lot of valedictorian speeches where students are taking the time to speak out against this injustice. And it is a beautiful time to witness bravery, and it always makes me feel good to see how many people are disgruntled, because like we always say, that MAGA, it really is a small percentage. They're just obnoxiously loud. And unfortunately, their cult leader is unchecked, and there's a coup in the government, and the FBI is working with him, and the drug members are working with him. Like, we're kind of cooked, but it does make me feel good to know that the majority of Americans have common sense, and the majority of them are speaking up in fear, even when their voice shakes against it. And that's what we have to remember.
Yeah.
That's been also one of the frustrating things to watch, is that, like, people that do what we do for a living, and, you know, entertainers, people like, you know, Bruce Springsteen or whatever, and people with way less privilege than him, they're risking safety, saying things he doesn't like.
We risk safety by being here.
Yes, but the people in the House and the Senate won't take that same risk when it is their literal job.
Constitutional duty.
Like, as artists, like, we didn't say growing up, I want to be an artist even if it's dangerous and maybe my government might kill me over it. Like, that's not normally part of the job description of an artist in
No,
this
in fact,
country.
that sounds a lot like Middle Eastern countries that the Western media pretends to hate. But we're getting that.
But there is an expectation in public office where you're, like, gonna do things people don't like. It's, by definition, kind of a little bit of a dangerous job, and you took that job, but you won't do anything dangerous, but, like, everyday citizens will take more risk than you. You shouldn't be in that job.
And then for a president like Jasmine Crockett, she speaks out avidly, beautifully, eloquently against that man anytime she can. And I love watching her videos. And for Donald Trump to not even know the people that are contesting against him. I'm sure she's not educated. She has more degrees than you do, genius. What do you mean? Black women are the most overeducated population in America, and they have to be that way because people are so used to, one, speaking down to women, two, speaking down to black women. So for them to be in office, you know that they are millions of times smarter than any of the incumbents.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. And to imply that she's not smart and she's classless, no, she lacks the HR bullshit that you've gotten used to because you've scared so many.
I'm sorry, Trump, you don't get to talk about class.
I feel like every day that man wakes up and someone puts in front of him what his agenda for the day is, and because he is a spineless, sallow-skinned, sickle-celled idiot, he literally has no thoughts, and he just goes along. Oh, we hate trans today? Amazing. Oh, we hate black women today? Amazing. Oh, but we need them for the campaign? Love them. China was offering to take on discriminated students who were unable to get into the U.S. for schooling, so good job to the American people. You are really doing a good job pulling one under the Communist Party. Sure, this won't have any long-term repercussion effects.
Yeah, I mean, the rise of China kind of there's problems with that too. One thing I watched happen during this whole TikTok drama was like this: if the U.S. is bad and disagreeing with China, therefore China must be good. No, like they're both
funny.
Bad for different reasons in a lot of cases in different ways, but like they're both problematic.
They are both problematic, but China's being able to look like a good guy because America is looking so bad right now.
100%.
Yeah.
The rest of the world, it's crazy because I'll be on TikTok and I'll see users being like, comment what we don't know, like comment what they're not telling us. And like you're going through the comments and it's like the world is rioting with us. The world hates him. Like we have no allies.
I do think, or at least I hope, that most people recognize that it's not most of us. It's a small, very loud minority. Unfortunately, a solid chunk of our country doesn't vote or pay attention, but I don't think that they support him, so I don't know that they deserve to suffer.
Yeah, it's like the paying attention part, like, and that's what's frustrating is there's so much happening right now and so much in the hellscape that it is so hard to stay updated.
Well,
I mean, like
this is also
this
by
is our
design.
job,
To keep people working too many jobs, to keep people tired. So it's like I genuinely can't pay attention to what is happening in the world because I don't know how I'm going to feed my family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't totally accept the premise that like people should be free to just like check out completely. I understand it's
not at all.
overwhelming and there's a lot to keep track of, and I don't, even though this is my job, I don't keep track of every single thing. This is a grievance I have with our side of the political spectrum is constantly in the comments, well, you care about this, but you don't care about this other thing. And I'm like, I do care about the other thing, but I have a limited amount of like focus.
Yeah.
And I've like kind of picked my things that I'm the most outraged about, and that's what I'm going to focus on. But it doesn't mean I don't care about the other things. Like, if you care more about the other things, you should focus on those. But to not pay any attention, to not vote, to not like scroll any like news ever, like, no one is working every waking second. Everyone has a few minutes. If you have a few minutes to be on Instagram spewing disinformation in my comment section, you have a few minutes to go get some actual information.
Oh, if you're that person, then absolutely you have the time.
I also really hate when people ask us questions that could easily be Googled. I'm not your political source of information. I'm simply here to call out the fascist actions that we are witnessing and how they are impacting our country. But if you have questions, there are resources.
There's options between like paying no attention and paying all of the attention. You can pay some attention.
I feel like
Everyone
it's hard
should
to
be paying a little.
I feel like it's really hard to not be all. I mean, maybe that's just because it's our job.
Well,
but
I think it just also depends. Like, I agree with that, and I think that people should be paying attention. I think what I mean more is like people who are like, there is a solid chunk of this country that is very poor and very disenfranchised, and I don't think that it's their fault that they like.
No, and they're
Don't.
also being told that the person they
I
voted
wish
for
that-
used all the buzzwords to make them feel like they wouldn't be poor Americans anymore. We're gonna move on to our review. Our review today was on a men's What's Crackin' Sea Monster t-shirt. This is a lighter review. I felt like it was nice. He says, "What's crackin'? This shirt is so comfortable, and I've already got 3 compliments the first time I wore it. So fight the male loneliness epidemic. Buy our shirts. People will talk to you about them. It's nice to know that in this dumpster fire we're currently living in, at least I have a nice, fun t-shirt. It's the little things." And I would say, yeah, it has to be the little things right now.
Yep.
Because everything's on fire. So buy our t-shirts, spark your joy in the day, and, give people a reason to smile. I think we could do that. This comment was left on a activity book ad that we had probably going around Meta or one of those platforms. And this girl, 57 Sleepyhead 57, said, "Girl, I love you, but the day I pay $20 for a puzzle book will never come." And to that I say, the day you catch me paying less than $20 for an activity book will not happen, because you know it isn't good. Our books are good.
Sometimes people will be like, "Oh, I'm not paying that much," and I'm like, I don't think this is that expensive.
Also, maybe at like Walmart, don't spend that much money, but like your money is going to supporting small artists, small businesses, women-owned businesses. Like your money is going to support good things to make and support messages that you agree with.
If that's not money that you want to spend, then like don't
That's
spend
fine.
it. But like you don't need to comment that.
I also think it's
And
like the price of a
also,
paperback
like,
in
it
Barnes
really-
and Noble.
Yeah, I'm like, it's probably cheaper than some, depending
It
on
is.
when that paperback came out. It's literally the price of like 1.5 cocktails in Los Angeles.
And guess
Like,
what? This won't give you a headache the next morning.
It's also just more hours of entertainment.
Yeah.
Like,
It is.
A movie ticket is $20. This will take you way more than an hour and a half to get through, because there's so much content in there.
Your brain is working. It's good for
Yeah.
you.
Matt and I spend months writing these books, writing the content, and there's like so much attention to detail that goes into them, with like writing funny like tags for like titles of puzzles. Like there's all these like little funny puns and jokes like peppered throughout the books. There's like really a ton of thought that goes into them to make them really good quality. We print them on premium paper.
It's
Like,
more of a steal.
yeah,
Like
more
it's,
time goes into them than people think.
they should be more expensive, I would honestly say. Like,
And when people are like pestering us about $20, which is like kind of a trivial amount of money, I'm just like, you don't have to buy it, that's fine, but like to begrudge our team $20 with like all the stuff that we do to entertain our audience, like give me a break.
Yeah,
Just,
well,
like,
I think
don't
it's like-
talk to us. You're not our audience.
Yeah.
Or I'm just like again, that's fine if you're like, I genuinely would not spend $20 on this. Okay, so don't. Why do you have to comment that?
but
Like,
to
I don't
act like it's an
understand-
insane amount of money we're asking for when it's like less than $1 a page.
Yeah,
Like you
I just
literally,
am
there's
like,
how many pages are in it?
96 pages.
96 pages. It is 50. It's less than 50 cents for a page.
Yeah.
Like, come on. So buy our activity books. You can get them at boardwalk.com. We have 3 different themes, and there's a new one coming out that Meredith and Matt are working very hard on, and we're all very excited to see it. So $20 for hours of entertainment and a better attitude. Let's move on. For our audio listeners, we are moving on to my favorite part of the podcast, where we go through our delve dicks and we answer one of the questions. We start with original first, right? Or do we venting and then original? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, I have our venting deck. I'm gonna go light because the world is heavy.
Yeah.
What's the worst movie you've ever seen?
Okay, mine is called Shorts, and it was released in 2009, and it's about this kid who like finds a magical rock, and it like grants you a wish, but then the whole town gets in on it. But I just remember the movie was like, the story was told so horribly that in like my 10 years of age, I was like, that was the worst movie I've literally ever, like I became a movie connoisseur, so I would know anything that was ever better than Shorts. It was genuinely the worst movie I've ever seen, worst writing. I don't remember the acting at all, but I do remember just being like so disappointed. The trailer looked so good. I was so excited. And then leaving the theater, I was like, I don't know what happened in that movie. And I don't understand why they told it like that. Like I would have liked if it was told chronologically, not this wish connected to this wish, connected to this wish. But oh, who had the wish first? I don't know. It was just stupid. So sorry if you were in that movie.
It's called Deep Water. It came out in 2022. It has Ben Affleck and like some hot actress. I don't know. She's from Italy. I don't remember women's names. That's
She knows that they're hot though.
It was so fucking bad. I don't even know where to begin. Like, and I can deal with a bad movie. I like a movie that's like kind of stupid, or it's like, oh, like a really bad horror movie or something like that. This movie was so atrocious. Nobody's made decisions that made any fucking sense at all. There was this weird focus on like snails throughout the movie that made no sense, never came back. The plot was garbage. Also, I like read about, so it's based on a book, and apparently the author of the book got like banned from multiple like conferences and stuff because she would show up with bags full of snails. So she was just like this weird lady who would unleash snails in random rooms and stuff, and apparently she was awful to be around. I did a lot of research on this woman while I was after this movie because I was genuinely so mad about how bad this movie was, and I truly left it. My thought after watching it was, oh my God, I think I hate movies and I never want to see a movie again. That's how bad that movie was.
What a cohesive wrap up.
I like that. I don't know, there were two that came to mind for me. I really hated Triangle of Sadness a lot because it just seemed to go nowhere. It like tried to be one movie and then it changed its mind like a third of the way through, tried to be a different movie, and it just, I didn't even finish it. I was so irritated with it. I was like, this movie never ends. It's so meandering. There's no coherent story here. I was very irritated with that, but I was also very irritated with how much love Skinamarink got, which is a horror movie. It's like one of those like artsy indie horror movies, and I love horror movies. But it's like one of those movies that has no dialogue, and it's all just like images, and it's like too artsy for its own good. It reminds me of, if you ever seen that movie Ghost World, Ghost World is amazing, but there's like a arts class where the teacher's like, this is the film I made in grad school called Mirror, Father Mirror. It makes no sense. And like nothing happened. It's just a collection of images with like no plot. And that's what Skinamarink felt like. I was like, I don't even know what's happening here. I quit halfway through that one as well. But those are like two of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah. So I'm on the original Delve deck, and we're also going to stay light. If you had to move to another country but could pick any you'd like, which would you choose and why? I feel like it's pertinent information to the current state of the states.
Realistically, I would probably pick like England, and I would probably move to London. I feel like if I could do that, I would still be able to have like a similar career that I have right now.
Yeah.
And I think that it would be very easy to
London
like
is
do comedy there and kind of like seamlessly do that. So realistically, that's probably what I would do.
I think I gotta go with Melbourne because in Australia, it is most like LA. I love LA and don't want to leave it. I would like to take it with me if I left the country. It's my favorite place. But if I had to leave, I'd probably pick Melbourne because it's the place I've been that reminds me the most of LA in terms of like what the nature situation is and the weather and all of that. And cool. Australia is big, so if you move there, there's still like lots of places to go within the country, which is one of the things I like about where I live now. It has a lot of similar terrain in Victoria to what we have in California.
That's pretty fair.
I feel like it wouldn't be so painful of a transition. And
the heat, though?
In Melbourne, I think the weather is pretty similar to LA.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know so little about Australia. I don't think I was thinking logically. My brain immediately was like, Italy. But I don't like, I don't love pasta. And
Okay.
I know. Who is she? I loved Italy though. Like I loved the history of it, and like Colosseum and going to Naples and seeing Pompeii. And I know those are all like touristy, I guess, like traveling adventures. So I guess I don't really know where I'd like to settle. Ireland, Dublin was really nice. That was the first time in my life that nobody has thought I was special for my red hair. Mm-hmm. And it's not like there was a plethora of redheads there, but it was literally like, I remember I was talking to these two Irish people and they were like, yeah, you're from the States. I was like, oh my God. They were like, how are redheads treated in the States? I was like, we are fetishized. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, men like they love us there. And they were like, that's so weird. And I'm like, thank you. It is weird. Dublin was really nice. I liked the food. I liked the walking. I liked the clubs. I liked the drinking in the streets. It feels very community. It feels very camaraderie. Yeah. Like, everyone in Ireland's very nice. Well, I don't want to speak out of turn. People are like, you don't even know Ireland. But like from the people I met, it was the first place where I was an American and people weren't shitting on me for it. They were like, oh, you're American. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I think probably Ireland or Italy.
Okay, some joy. Let's do deep joy. What would be in your version of heaven? Cats.
Obviously cats.
In my version of heaven, I live in a princess castle, and in the backyard, it's a forest, and there's a babbling little creek, and there's a greenhouse shed that has all my favorite books, and there's a chicken wing bar, there is a sushi bar, there is so much food all the time, everywhere, whatever kind I want, and there's rock climbing whenever I want it.
I don't have like a bad time in this earth if we just remove all the things that suck. Like I'd be like, okay, I don't have to work anymore. I can teleport, so I can travel. Like I don't have to deal with traffic or planes or anything like that. So I can just teleport. There's no evil people ruling anything. So it's all really nice. And then I would just take, like, I'm good with this planet. Like, I think we got good vibes here. I'd like to stay here with just, like, out all of the bullshit. And so I think my ideal version of heaven, I'd be able to pop around and travel.
Definitely cats. I mean, I love LA so much. I'm such a, like, huge LA fan. My version of heaven would be basically LA minus, like, the problems. Like, minus jerks and traffic. But,
and
like,
dirty streets and overpriced gas and overpriced rent.
Yeah, you just wouldn't have to deal with that.
But like the LA terrain, the LA weather, like all the art that LA has, all the food that LA has, like all the farmers
performances.
Markets. Yeah.
We're a city of artists. Very happy to be here.
I know LA gets a lot of hate, but I don't care. More LA for me. I love it so much.
But that's by people who come here expecting LA life to like be small town life. Like you're coming here.
It's people who come here and they go to Hollywood Boulevard and Santa Monica Pier, and then they're like, LA sucks, and you're like, you went to two places and they're super touristy.
It took me a while to really love Los Angeles because it wasn't the location, it was the community, and I needed to plant roots, and I didn't have that, and I didn't know how to when I was 19 when I moved here. Like, what do I know about it? But now I'm like, this is my home. This is my home.
It's a great city. It's actually a hard city to enjoy as a visitor. Like as a guest, I feel like it's not a great city to just like be a tourist in because it's so big and you kind of have to know the city to know where to go and what to enjoy. But living here, so good.
Yeah, minus the rent.
It is expensive. That is its biggest flaw, I would say.
It's
so expensive.
Usually when things cost more money, it's for
worth
a reason.
Yeah. Anyway, so those are all of our Delve decks. If you want to take the plunge today, you can order yours at boardwalk.com. I promise you they will always make you feel better. It gives you conversation starters for first dates, family gatherings, awkward encounters. Whip these bad boys out and you will never be left unsatisfied. So boardwalk.com, take the plunge. And while you're at it, give us all little forehead kisses because we deserve it for being so brave. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. We love you guys so much.
Thanks.
Okay,
Bye.
Bye.